We all grieve in our own way, but it's never easy. After the death of her husband of more than 35 years, retired business professor and author of 20 books wrote the poetry book, Living Without the One You Cannot Live Without, Hope and Healing After Loss. My guest, Dr. Natasha Josefowitz, a recent inductee into the San Diego County Hall of Fame, and marriage and family therapist David Peters. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Peggy.
Natasha, the books in your the poems in your book chronicle your journey from your husband's diagnosis with prostate cancer through grief and healing.
Yes.
Would you take a moment to read us your poem titled Maybe?
Yes. That's a very important poem because I think this is where everybody feels. Maybe it's all a mistake. Maybe it wasn't real. Maybe it was a bad dream. Maybe it didn't happen. Maybe when I come home tonight, he'll be there saying, "Hi, how was it?" And I'll tell him all about it, except he wasn't there, and so he didn't ask.
It's a moving poem because I think so many people can relate to it. What did you find to be the most difficult part after the loss of your husband?
Well, we were joined at the hip. We were kind of a unit, he and I together, and so this hip is bleeding. It's torn, and so it's bleeding all the time. And everywhere I go, everything I do, I'm now in an alien world. I'm in a world of couples, and I'm a single person, and I don't fit in anywhere because we would finish each other's sentences. We did everything together, and so being a kind of a half a person, half a unit, that went on for a long, long time, and that was most disconcerting.
This idea, David, of going from a we to an I, is that a common response? And is there anything you can do to prepare yourself for the loss of a loved one that is joined at the hip?
There's very little we can do to prepare except for maybe read and learn from others who are experiencing it before us. But it is a very common experience, especially for those who have been socializing as couples. When suddenly you're the single person and your friends are still in couples, the awkwardness is overwhelming, very, very big challenge for people.
Something else, Natasha, in researching your book, you looked at adults ages 60 to 90, and you found that men and women in this age group, they grieve differently.
You know, I took this age group because this is the age group that they have lost their parents. The kids have moved away. They're not in the workforce anymore. And so they have many fewer resources. And I found something that is not in the literature. Men and women grieve very differently. I'll give you an example. A man has a friend and he says to him, someone you know has lost his wife, how would you help? And the man says, well, I would take him out for lunch and we would talk of other things. You ask a woman, you have a friend who's just lost a husband, how would you help? Oh, well, I would go there and we would bring some food and we'll talk. And so this is pervasive. I don't know if you know this, but 6% of men who have lost a wife have a higher suicide rate than the general population. By the end of a year, the men are already with the best casserole. And
you're going to have to explain best casserole for
well,
folks.
there's a casserole brigade to the men who have just recently been widowed, because as a man grows older, his pool of available females grows larger, and as a woman grows older, her pool grows smaller. And so a single man is someone that anybody wants to get together with as a companion.
Remarries faster. David, what are some of the other difficulties that people have when dealing with the loss of a loved one they've been married to for a long time or with a long time?
Well, you lose your business partner sometimes, you lose your best friend sometimes, you lose your lover sometimes. For some, your reason to live was that partner. If you were caretaking them for, say, the last 5 to 10 years, then it's even worse because you've been their right-hand person. So our roles change. Just the very silence in the home can be overwhelming. We can become disoriented in our lives and be challenged to find meaning again. But we definitely need to, work through that by connecting with other people and building other relationships.
Oh, I have to add something. He mentions meaning. I was such a mess after my husband died. I went to see a psychologist, and I said, my life has lost all meaning. And she said, well, meaning is very overrated. That really helped.
Okay, she helped you focus. Thinking of the therapist here, is there any particular sign that it's time to go see a therapist or get help because the grieving process maybe is stuck?
Well, the grieving can take easily a year with symptoms that are similar to depression. But if you find that you're losing weight, if you find that you're unable to function in ways that you must function, say at work or something like that, if you find that you're taking risky behaviors, then definitely it might be time to get some professional help.
All right, therapist David Peters and Dr. Natasha Josefowitz, thank you so much. We have a lot more resources on coping with grieving on our website, kpbs.org.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.